All right, so this learning module that you guys are going to go on, it's a pretty short learning module. It's more of a refresher for you guys. It's called Reviewing Some Writing Basics because you are reviewing the basics of writing. I mean, it's exactly what it says. So there are just a few things that I've seen that you guys are either struggling with or maybe you're just not used to doing in terms of academic writing. So I thought that, we just have a little mini refresher. I don't think it's something that needs to go back and just completely reteach, right? Because it's stuff that you have learned for years and years. And it is something that we went over at the beginning of the semester as well. So, but I think it is something that you do need to refresh yourself over. So it is mandatory that you go through and look at these documents that I've given you. Both of them are very short. There's only two. They are very short and to the point because you also have to work on a paper this week. So I didn't want to just bog you down with a whole bunch of reading to do. So the first one is over introductions and conclusions. Introductions and conclusions, people in general struggle with introductions and conclusions in writing them and what goes in them and all of that. So this handout, it goes over what the purpose of an introduction is, what the purpose of a conclusion is, and what goes in each of them, and kind of gives you a little outline kind of what you should have in there, what makes them effective and all of that. And, the handout's pretty short. As far as intros and conclusions go, my word of advice is write them last. And I know, I think must be how humans are built. You want to go in order, like where do I go first? And then just start with my first sentence and then go to the end. And a lot of you have noted in your journals and in your discussions and stuff about how just figuring out where you want to start writing, and that's hard. And even with the outline, well, some of you have noted okay, I need to make sure I go by my outline, but just it's kind of, I think to me it seems like a battle basically in your head of where you want to start writing and where your brain is actually trying to get you to start writing. That's how it is for me, at least. So, and my tip is start writing wherever your brain is starting. Okay. And just if you're some students write by hand, cool. If that's you, not me, I will type everything. It's way faster. Or just start typing wherever your brain is starting. Do not worry about, well, do I need to say this thing first, blah, blah, blah. Start wherever, what topic it is that you want to start on, start there. But go ahead and have your outline out. Have your outline out next to you. And then just, kind of use that to kind of give you some, parameters. Like, you ever go bowling and you put up the little guard things? That's how I bowl because I'm a terrible bowler. But so you still got the ball going down the alley. I don't know. I'm not a good bowler. So you still got the ball going to hit the pins, but sometimes you might have to have these little things where it bounces off, little bumper things. Cool. It's fine. You're still getting to the same place. So start writing. And, just make sure you're using your outline to make sure you're covering the points that you had already pre-planned before you were stressing out about having to write a paper or stressing about oh my gosh, now I have to write it. Okay. So you still use that to kind of act like as a bumper for you to kind of give you little guardrails, I guess. And then you just work through what you can. And once you're done with that, then you can add in the intro, and then you can add in introduction. Sorry, then the conclusion. It's easier to write an introduction and conclusion when you already know what you're introducing. Okay. Also, guess what? That's what revisions and edits are for. That is exactly why we do it, because it doesn't need to be perfect the first time you write it. So when you write it, if later you're like, okay, well, now I need to move it, that's okay, because that's why you started wherever your brain is going to start writing. And then that's why you revise it. Then you move it to where you think it needs to move. And it might be where you decided on your outline, or when you start writing, you're like, it'll work better here instead. Cool. But don't stress yourself out with thinking that you need to write in order. Okay. And also, once you have your intro written, you basically have your conclusion. Some of you have been like copying and pasting your thesis to your conclusion because I said it contains the same information. But remember, pretty sure I used a smoothie analogy. So it's the same thing, but like you put it in a blender up and then it looks totally different, but it's got the same ingredients. Same thing with the introduction. Okay. So you have to revise and paraphrase even the things that you wrote on your own. Okay. And the next link I have, the 10 essential features of academic writing. It's just a rundown of 10 things that are crucial pieces to academic writing, which is something that you need to know, not just for Comp 1, not just for Comp 2, not just for an English class. Whatever your major is that you're going into, you're going to need to know how to write. Even if you are going to be a math major, they are likely going to have you write something. I don't know because I was not a math major by any stretch of the imagination, but I bet they'll have you write. But if you are going into the sciences, into health, into education, English, writing, history, political science, legal studies, international studies, a foreign language, any of those, you're going to need to know how to write. So it is important that you understand this now, where the stakes are a lot lower for you than if they would be once you have progressed into your academic career. I'm not saying that's low stakes because I do take off points if you don't do stuff right. But I also know that you're learning. Okay. So make sure you work through both of those readings. Like I said, they are short. It is not optional to go through those. Next week, we are going to do a few more things in terms of your writing. Also, the outlines that I gave you guys, those are in the menu. So make sure you use those. The writing strategy, I suggest that most of you use that. Or I suggest that all of you use it, really. It is essential to helping you write solid paragraphs. And honestly, it takes a lot of the weight off of how much work you need to do if you follow that versus you just trying to figure it out yourself. It's kind of like if you are trying to put a desk together that you got at, I don't know, IKEA or off Amazon or something. If you're trying to do it by the instructions, it will be a lot less work than if you're just trying to figure it out yourself, right? If you use a YouTube video to help you learn how to do blah, 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 whatever it is you want to do, it's probably a lot less work for you than trying to figure it out yourself. So the same thing with using the writing strategies. Also, the introducing quotes and commentary. Because some of you are still just throwing your quotes in there and not citing them properly, but also not even weaving them into a sentence properly. So just think of it like this. If you are reading a blog or a book or whatever it is that you like to read, and if it flowed the way that some of your things flow and all of that, number one, as the audience, as a reader, would you like that? Would it be difficult for you? And if you say yes, that it would be difficult, okay, what do you think should change? Okay, so maybe it's taking a step back with your writing and try to look at it as a reader, okay? And try to, use the reader's eyes. So you kind of really do that in your peer reviews. Also try to practice it with your own, because that might help you if you write with a reader's eyes. That sounds pretty smart. I just came up with it. But anyhow, if you guys have questions about any of this, if you need help, if you are struggling in a certain area, do not hesitate to message me, to email me. I will Zoom with you. If you want to send me a paragraph that you're having a hard time with, and I can help you with it, any of that, that's my job. That's what I enjoy to do. I love helping you guys. And, I want nothing more than to help you guys figure out how to do this the best way. I don't want you struggling through it. I know writing can be hard. Sometimes it's hard for me. But I'm all about working harder and not smarter. No, working smarter, not harder. That's what it's saying is. So, gosh, it's been a long week, has it not? Right. So I'm all about shortcuts. I just should have said that. But please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Some of you do, some of you don't, and I really wish you would. So yeah, that's all I have to say. Work through that. I can't wait to see what you guys are writing about with your argument essay. This one's always a fun one for me. So you guys have a good week.